Hi everyone, my name is Charlotte. Today we're going to be casting a B division game between Tactical Feed and Pepegas on ice. I will allow you guys, I will permit you guys to have breaks in between, but we're gonna skip the map bans, mostly because as I get better as a caster, I will start incorporating more elements. So for the first few casts, bear with me. Every Friday, I'll be doing a live cast, and this is our first one. This is a best of 3 starting now. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited to see these two teams duke it out. I love, a one-off game is nice, but a best of 3 is going to be really fun to watch. All right, let's go. Load up the game. Hi, listen. What the fuck? Alright, you know what? See? Technical difficulties. These things happen. What? I'm already logged in? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? You make me, Let's try again. When we get in. There will be no cuts. Okay. What are you doing? I'm trying to cast here. I'm casting here. It's a replay cast. Yeah. I don't want to do live because, stakes are a little bit higher. Presentation, I have to coordinate with teams. Not yet, anyway. I want to keep it fun and then slowly ramp up. Do a live cast. Yo, this is where I was just logged in. I gotta log in like, yo, what the freak? All right. I don't know my login. All right. Why? Why? Because I logged in? You don't trust me? Okay. All right. Sorry about this. We're about to get in. I just need a two-factor. Here's the storm. Blizzard. Always doing weird things. I mean, I guess there's a lot of accounts that get stolen, and you just want to be a little careful. All right, let's get into it. Okay, there are a few hotkeys I need to do. All right. Oh, we don't have edge scrolling. All right. For Tactical Feed, we have Gambit on Gul'dan, Viper on Anduin, you got Ogal the Great on Hogger, you got Kiranovast on Kira, and Maturium on Stitches. For Pepegas on ice, we got Tomgin on Leoric, Teal on ETC, Creepio. Creepio is your name? I like it. All right, let's just see the first engage. Both teams poking it out. We're seeing a double healer comp against pretty standard makeup. So this double healer comp is going to make Pepegas on ice have a pretty solid defensible early game. And a lot is leveraging on Creepio on Vala here. We have Raptor. We have Raptor on White Main. They're going to start doing this camp. So an early camp with EXP distributed across. Peas on Uther. Take out mid. Now, with this camp being taken, Hogger, other team, burning it down. Are they looking for an invasion right here? This is a good time. Hogger's low. They might even get this kill. The kill is pretty worth it. White Main should be able to survive this. Kira gets on ETC. And all players running in Turrets are dropped. And Gul'dan a little far back, not able to get enough damage. And this invasion turns into a 2-person kill, stealing the camp, dropping the tower. And that's going to put Pepegas on ice. Pepegas, for short. In the lead, 3-2 on their levels. Meantime, these are your level 1s. You got some Block Party, Silver Touch. So a Holy Fire, Holy Shock build, Uther. I could see space for it because you have 2 healers. And you already gotta respect Uther as a healer. He could go into a front line. So we have a 3-2 split on Tactical Feed, while you have a double soak Leoric. Actually, maybe there's not much soak here in mid. And I think, this makes sense because you don't really win lanes if you're running a healer. That is going to be a kill. Nice CC by Kira, taking out White Mane. Going to first objective located in mid. We're gonna see Tactical Feed take an early position on it. Big camp is being worked on. In the meantime, are they going for this kill? They're not going to find Leoric. Leoric just buying time. Does escape. Level 7 is going to pop for Pepegas. Just need a little more EXP. 4v3 in mid. Objectives RB channel. 4v4. We got these two duking out in bottom. Are they going to join? I don't know. In the meanwhile, they're going to push and create a little pressure with Gul'dan's AoE. They're looking for a very aggressive position on this rotate. That pull does not save Gul'dan, and I like how Pepegas are hyper-aggressive. Like, it's like they know exactly when they're going to rotate. And, this is a pretty common rotate pattern. You clear the wave, you rotate to mid for objective, but here's another invasion, right? They have the timing locked down. Meantime, Stitches. Both teams have level 7. Make note that you have Hand of Protection. Unstoppable on Uther. That will come into play against Akira. Against a Hogger. You could prevent a knockback with that. They just can't push him off. It's risky because you don't know who's sitting right behind him. Even exchange, but 2 turrets in the favor of Pepega pushing out Kira. Kira should be fine here, but that leaves Hogger out of position. Vala gets the knockback, gets knocked back, prevents her from getting the kill. I could see a kill happening if she got that through, but first objective going to Pepegas on ice. Oh! That channel. Lyric gets a nice channel and picks up that kill. So with the big robot running forward, Tank and White Mane, ETC and White Mane in the robot, that frees up Vala to deal some good damage. Now, this is a right-click Vala. This is excellent for Vala because she needs to build up these stacks going into mid-game. She has 52 stacks right now. Anduin picked off. Nice ETC. Nice little surprise move. ETC jumping out of the robot to get an ult. It's a tactic that is so underutilized in pub matches, but it's something tanks should always consider. And with a 2-level lead, Pepegas deal significant damage to the fort at top. And they're gonna continue this pressure. Without a healer to support them, Anduin's still on his way. Kira goes down. And that's gonna be an early, pretty early fort. Meantime, these two could fight forever. That's why I like watching the off lane. Usually both teams pick this like hero that's like nigh unkillable, and they're nigh unkillable, and they just brawl. But it's good fun because they take the fight. It's like wrestling. You know how they go to backstage and they keep brawling? The fight just keeps moving. Or it's like Mortal Kombat. It does Mortal Kombat, like you punch them through a ceiling or whatever. And here they are back at bottom. Continue to brawl. I like it. More violence. Although Hogger is a little bit at a disadvantage early on. Late game, I don't really know this matchup. I don't know who has a stronger late game. I always want to say Hogger because I guess when I play games and there's a Hogger, they're always insanely scary. Maybe they're really good with them. All right, both teams picking up their turrets, and second objective is coming up. Kira by herself, soon to be grouped up with the rest of the team. Here comes Pepegas. Hogger knocks back, kind of out of position. Chain stunts, nice save by Maturium. Both teams moving to mid. Big Cam's gonna be worked on, right? And this is something that Tactical Feed can try to take advantage of, and not necessarily go for an invasion, but find a pick-off, and that's what they're gonna do. Now, this is still Leoric, a little hard to stop, and it's a good try, but it is Leoric. His unstoppable Wraith Walk is going to make him like a very respectable offlane. He does not get ganked easily. All right, next objective is top. This is our landscape. And with a big camp pushing. Tactical Feed's going to disarm this push. In the meantime, aggressive positioning. Again, Pepegas love this back cut. And there it is. Stitches caught, surrounded by 5. Healed through, pulling Leoric just to get bodies out of there. Kira does get CC'd. It's a tough position to be in. But Pepegas has got it locked down. Really, really aggressive positioning. I think Tactical Feed needs to respect that and expect that, because their strength, Pepega, is extremely good at intercepts. Here's Leoric. Gets 2, channeling 2. No deaths exchange. And Vala, sorry, I didn't show the levels. Vala does get her stacks. She's at 100 stacks now. And that's going to equate to more damage. Interestingly enough, Vala goes for a Gloom. Which is great to counteract spell damage. It does cost you a little DPS because you drop your Hatred. But here's the invasion again. Hogger. It's like, I'm thinking like, as Hogger, I'm like, do I stop and die or do I keep going? But hey, you know what? He made it out alive. And I think maybe camping as 5 is gonna be called for. 3-level advantage for Pepegas. Second objectives, for the most part, largely ignored. Tactical Feed needs to get this level gap reduced. Almost with the Gorge. Almost with the Gorge. So close. And they're gonna find us around here. He needs to move. He needs to move to get this Leoric. And he dives into a creep line, narrowly escaping the hook. It's a good follow-up. One idea, potentially, Anduin could do a pull just to get that extra distance on Stitches in time. But that's expending a very important cooldown. And Leoric, I always feel the off lane works the hardest. Generally, they have the most boring lane. I mean, I play off lane occasionally. I always find it pretty boring. Maybe it's just me. But they have, like, the most responsibility at the same time. So it's like, oh, Entomb. But it's right under tower. I don't think we're going to find anything from that. ETC gets the cut, but gets eaten. That was a good Gorge. Unable to break their ETC free. They're working this tower. Instead, Vala gets hooked in. That is huge. Now, Vala losing her stacks with each death with a right-click build. That's going to cost Pepegas a great deal. Ideally, ETC dies and keep Vala alive because, remember, their damage is a little limited. But with double heals, actually, Whitemane, I'd take that back. Whitemane is a force. She is a force. She has spec'd correctly, or spec'd for damage. She can deal a lot of damage. We'll see. Anything can happen with Tactical Feed channeling objective. 19% to 89%. There is time for a retake scenario. The level gap is closer now that they're in the same skill tier. But Stitches backs off the point. Not wanting to get picked off. Just in case. And they might be able to finish this channel here. 95%. And that's going to be a robot for... a big bot. A robot. I like to call it a robot. Look at him. It's a big old robot. It's gonna be a robot for Pepegas. They're not opting to go in lane, but what they are doing is clearing the creep wave to create pressure at top. So that puts Tactical Feed in a position where they have to defend 2 lanes at once. And no, I did not forget about bottom. Those two were duking it out again. But Robot's still... it's still a little weak. Not enough to burn that bot, that first fort. Gul'dan intercepts the hand. That hand disables this fort, so it can't fire back on the robot. So... disabling it would have been preferred. Oh my, full range hook on Vala. She's gorged into double CC, but oh my goodness. Invulnerability saves Vala. That Uther traded essentially 1 ult for 2. And that means they could look for a fight here. They could look for a kill on Hogger. And I think they're positioned for that. No, they're coming around. Hogger bouncing off. able to get out, but Entomb under the tower. Harger does go down. Conveyor belt not going to help Tactical Feed get into that fight. They were much higher on the map, so Harger was not able to get support in time. And that's going to be another fort. When we look at structural damage... Oh, level 20s are popped. Buried Alive, Tour Bus, Bulwark for more invulnerability, by the way. When we look at structural damage across the map, we have half health. This is barely touched, mostly because Pepegas have been defending it pretty well. Now, this level gap is a big deal. Pepega's gotta find EXP, but it becomes hard when you have aggressive rotates like this. And they know. Tactical Feed knows this invasion's coming. And they're gonna have to give it up. Okay. Leoric. Gorge. He could walk through the gate? I did not know that. I did not know he could walk through the gate. Leoric, you could do everything. Oh, this is also the janitor Leoric. I love that skin. It's adorable. Anyways, Hogger getting position, but what's gonna happen? Is this gonna be a forced siege onto top? Level 20s are out for Tactical Feed, Silent Killer. More CC, more CC. Someone unkillable there. And Haunt. More CC. CC is always good to have. Third objective going up at bottom, but no one but Kira's in position. And a nice cut into the middle of this rotate. Stitches gets caught in this Entomb, silenced. ETC follows up on Gul'dan. Anduin pulls out. But Kira in the back line making good work of Whitemane. And a nice exchange. One of the stronger engagements for Tactical Feed. Against what is essentially a stronger positioning from Pepegas. They turned it around, and that's what Kira needs to do. Kira needs to find the back line. Ideally, Kira finds Uther, but Uther's hard to kill if Whitemane's there. If you get Whitemane, Uther's going to protect Whitemane, so it becomes a little difficult. She needs to find these miraculous choke points to CC2 players. Both teams diving each other's backline, but that Entomb. That Entomb is just so scary. We're not finding a hook. Objective 3, 41% channeled for Tactical Feed. 40-second respawn, with late game respawns being an insanely long time. This puts Tactical Feed at a slight disadvantage. Are they gonna get this turret? Now, see, now they know. They saw this turret. Are they expecting a gank? They know Leoric's at top. They've seen the vision. And they're able to pick it up. But Pepegas have something else in mind. In the meantime, Whitemane is channeling bomb. Are we gonna see invasion, a hook gorge? And you do have to fish for these things. You do have to fish for kills because it is so hard to get past that ETC in the front. And especially when you have tower support, getting these gorges can guarantee some kills quickly. Objective is pop for Pepegas. We're going to see another robot. Nice. Little robot. Little is not the description, I'd say. But he is still a robot, after all. Akira with this sneaky back positioning, which is good. She needs to find these healers. Well, Uther at least. And a gorge into Leoric. He's gonna try and get this Entomb off, but with the silence from Kira, invulnerability does save Leoric. Vala now, late game, showing up. Vala has 153 stacks. By no means at full strength, but this is still scary for a Hogger. If Hogger doesn't get his spells off, Vala's just gonna tear him up as he runs away. And this, like this robot tearing off the keep. First keep down. And now it's becoming an existential crisis. Kira gets caught out. Gul'dan and the transfer of the ETC will likely turn this game over to Pepegas on ice. Long respawn times, 40 seconds across the board. Unless we can distract Pepegas. Look juicy. Look juicy, Stitches. Oh, Hogger coming in. All right, these two might be able to distract long enough. Ate the Uther. Oh my god, can they hold? Oh, so close. But the Vala needs to die. Whitemane's trying to burn this core. What? This is so incredibly close. Hogger is doing amazing. Oh my god. That was incredible defense, honestly. I mean, two players bringing them down super low. It was... I really felt like if Hogger got an early kill on Vala, then we would see a potential turnaround, because it got so desperate. Now Pepegas wasn't threatened, but it got so desperate. She's like right-clicking with her staff. She's like throwing her shoes, and it's like everything she can do to shut them down once and for all. And it did end up working in Pepegas on Ice's direction. So Pepegas takes match one. But that defense, I love that defense. I don't care. It wasn't fully successful, but I loved it. It was actually really well done. Moving into game two, we'll take like a breather. I'm going to give you guys like 2 minutes. We're going to close HOTS. Should I close HOTS? I probably shouldn't. It's going to ask me to log in, and then it's going to like do all this funny business. So we'll see if we could just open up the replay directly there. But I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. I did log in, but I never logged out. That's why it's annoying. I'm like, I didn't log out. Why did you force log me out? It's Blizzard. I do understand. There's a lot of like account theft when it comes to Blizzard games. It happens. So they do have extra precautions as compared to a lot of other like software. The only other software I see like that has such like aggressive logout protocol is the Epic launcher. You don't use the app for like a week and they log you out. That's why I don't use Epic. Anyways, we're about to get into game 2. I got my water. I hope you guys got water, some food, because this is a best of 3. It can very much go back into Tactical Feed's favor for game 2, and I would love for that. I always want the maximum amount of games. Always. If it's a best of 99, be sure I'll be here. I'll be here for those like 50 wins, you know? Like, I'm ready for that. I will need a lot of coffee. I need to be loaded. But let me load game 2. Tactical Feed versus Pepegas on Ice. B division. Is it loading? Do I have to quit the replay? I have to quit the replay. Now we know. When I quit the replay, guess what? I have to log back in. All right. I do it for you guys. Well, I do it for HOTS, actually. Let's try it again. Hopefully, I don't have to log back in. So, in that first game, that spearhead that ETC led for Pepegas made a huge difference. Yes, their damage early game is not strong, but they do have that heals. They have a double heal, and that's going to allow them to do these aggressive dives and interfere with the camping experience for a Tactical Feed. I also need to put the match game 2. Need to remember that. What was that map? Yeah, see? Voskaya. Wiener. Pepegas. Okay. All right. Good thing we had that. I have to log back in. All right. Let's log back in. Let's see if I can. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Game 2. Alterac pass. This time we're going to introduce Pepegas on Ice. You have Tomgin now taking the Hogger instead of Leoric. We have Teal picking up the Nubarak Peas on Anduin. Creepio, our DPS on Chromie, and Raptor, our Siege and DPS on Sylvanas. For Tactical Feed, we got Viper on the Tyrande. We got Ogle the Great, who swapped out a doggo for a panda. I think it's a great choice. I'll introduce the rest of the players later, but we do have Gambit. Oh, they're not engaging. All right, we have Gambit on the Vala, Krenovast on KT, and Maturium on Joanna. There's no early ARAM. I'm curious about that decision. Early bottom push. Here are your level 1s. Chromie still did not pick a build. And that's probably for a good reason. Hogger's working on their camp back here. Tanks exchanging, playing the offlane role. And Panda cannot burn this by himself. A nice timing attack by Pepegas. Because they need a lot of defense against a Sylvanas, right? For early game. Sylvanas' AoE can equate to a lot of damage. Big doggos out for Pepegas. Gonna be met with doggos on Tactical Feed. Hey, these are hoggers. Hogger, go save your people. What do you gotta save your people. Your people are being murdered. Oh man, a hogger. He's not a good king. And Sylvanas barely makes it out. Sorry, I kind of missed that. I didn't say it's a right-click build. I said Gambit's playing Vala. It looks like both teams decide to like switch roles, switch heroes, right? The Vala pick, like we will probably see this quite often in organized play, where you're stealing heroes to deny them a pick. Oh, look at this. Hogger on Hogger violence. Don't look. It's awful. It's so mean. He beats them up until they work for him. And then he lets them die in combat. Pretty quiet early game. So far, no deaths. We did not look at the stats for last game. I just remembered. My fault. Work in progress. I'll put the stats in post. That means I have to rewatch the replay, but I'll put in post because that's pretty critical. I'm so used to playing quick match that I don't look at stats. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Here it is. First objective. A spear right into the middle, separating Pepegas. Team's isolated with Panda burning down Anduin. Anduin is gonna die up there. But Pepegas do take the objective at the cost. Oh, Anduin does not die. But they do lose the new Barak. Nice stun. A little extra damage. Ooh. First objective out. Ah, sorry, I missed that kill. All right. Let's look at the deaths. We got Sylvanas and Nubarak. Both going down. Stun going off. I don't expect anyone to die at top, but let's see how this push is faring in middle. Not a lot of structural damage. Tower takes some damage. But top is making great work because Joanna just doesn't have enough to burn. And Hogger going to escape. In the meantime, Sylvanas is priming a push of her own at bottom. And they have the range. They have the range to chip apart. Oh, is this a boss attempt? It's a fake boss attempt. No allies in sight. Panda on its own. Does get burned. Is this a real boss attempt now? Remember, it's 4v3 with... or 4v4 with Panda down. We do have Vala and Tyrande working the camp, so this defense is actually just two players trying to hold it off. And they do. Try and deal some damage to this creep. You have to break that creep line. This is the full force of Pepega. Not dealing a lot of damage, a lot of spells committed there. Nice defense by Tactical Feed. Panda preparing a push at top. And Hager's gonna meet him at top. But bottom objective this time. Primed. Let's look at the level 10s. We got Cocoon. Both teams hitting 10 within just about the same time. This could turn into something. And here they go again, right? This continued threat into bottom. This continued threat on cooldown into bottom is gonna keep Tactical Feed at a defensive position. If they move bottom, they're gonna get pressured on the objective. 4v4 on this objective, and good zoning by Vala. Panda does pick up the kill on Hager finally. I've been watching this brawl at the corner of my eye, and you know how essentially these heroes don't die in the off lane, but just in case. Hi, Cesspool. They're gonna take this camp. Can they burn this in time? It doesn't look like neither team wants to commit heavily into objective. But Sylvanas is the problem. She is the threat that needs to be dealt with. Raptor's gonna go up and defend against Ogle. Meantime, objective. Tactical Feed's gonna take this opportunity to channel objective. Nice. Almost gets the interrupt. Chromie out of position. But nice pull. And it's those Joanna stuns. Those Joanna stuns, she gets behind you. It's gonna be really hard to kill him. Both teams level 12. Cocoon popped on Joanna. Hager gets in a backline. Isolating DPS. Vala gets knocked around, unable to deal any damage. And Chromie trying to get a follow-up, but amazingly, Tactical Feed evades all these ganks. So many low heroes getting knocked around by Hager, slowed by Sands of Time, stunned by Anduin's Light Bomb, impaled. Everything that could happen has happened, and they didn't get a kill for it. But they're still going to try for this push. And Panda might be able to find backline. Instead, counter-initiate. KT pretty low, needs to back up. But this Hager able to spin out. Great defense on both teams, equating to no deaths once again. But each time, Pepegas is slightly ahead on the life lead. And as that gap closes, this defense is going to be more difficult. Because while Tactical Feed is trying to heal up, they have opportunity to push and go objective again. Hager being a nuisance. I'll break anything. I just want to break stuff. Hager. Panda looking for backline here. Not. He will find damage, but mind control. Joanna, Cocoon, Panda rolls to displace the Sylvanas. Sylvanas does Shadow Walk away, and Anduin pulls to secure. Once again, an exchange of ults, exchange of skills, and no deaths. This is the type of match I want to see. And Joanna gets a 3-person smite. Anduin out of place. Desperate plea used. But to no avail. Vala will likely go down here. And so does Sylvanas. This exchange has become a 3-on-3 while Hager going down and Panda showing its strength. in these long engagements. The ability to regenerate health essentially as shield. Ignite players doing a lot of damage. Nice follow-up. Is that going to equate to anything? No. See, and this is where the Chromie pick comes in. You can't channel if Chromie decides to shoot you. Chromie had limited mana, but if she had more mana, it'd be a little more difficult. Really good. Tactical Feed takes this objective. So objective number 2 falls in the favor of Tactical Feed. And both teams, not a significant amount of damage, but we are missing a fort here for Pepegas. This is down to half. Let's see what this objective does for Tactical Feed. Vast gets mind control, pull under towers. And that's going to be a dead mage. In the meantime, Vala taking on the Hogger. Pretty much nothing to fear from the Hogger. And she's able to push the tower pretty fast too. Right, smart positioning with that. And they want to get revenge on the Hogger King. The Null King, actually. He's a Null, right? So, nice ult to escape that gank. But that's going to be a costly trade because Pepegas are pushing this objective. And Tactical Feed deals good damage here. Take out Hogger, take out the gate, and disjointing Anubarak. Cocoon dropped on the Vala, smart decision, but is that enough? The pull from Anduin gets him out, and Panda comes in. Sansa time slowing, nice Anduin light bomb. Picking up the Panda. And then following ensuing kill. 35 seconds on the respawn of Tactical Feed for 2 players. Making this a 4v3 in the meantime. This is going to turn into a boss kill. And what do we choose to do? Now, it is very difficult to contest this. Their ults are used. But let's take a look at level 16s. And all these skills. We have Ignite. Panda's undecided. We have a Sentinel build coming from Tyrande, which is interesting. I do like the Sentinel HP reduction, and I also like this one, which reduces damage dealt. A double pull from Anduin. So that's also a really powerfully defensive and potentially offensive skill. Anduin could get into a position to pull his team forward. But this boss is left unchecked. I'm curious. We do have a Vala working on it. In the meantime, just a little skirmish. They need to keep up on EXP. And a little structural damage is fine because EXP is what's going to matter. The race to 20 is going to be a big determining factor. Especially with how even these teams have been. An early level 20 can change the game completely. And stun into a noob, but the pull, those pulls from Anduin, doing good work. Several players saved so far. Let's take a look at the stats. Time dead. And the healing numbers. Contesting objective 3, Tactical Feed starts the channel, gets interrupted by Chromie. Displacement by the Panda, isolating the Anduin. Light bomb going off. But 2 players are getting run over by Hogger. Panda in the back line, unable to rejoin the fight. Vala does fall. This is a big loss for Tactical Feed here. It's not over. There's still plenty of opportunities, but being caught by the Hogger in the back line here, we had Tyrande and KT with Hogger spinning them out, it's a lot of damage. And that's the backline game. It's, you have to catch the players at the right time. You have to pick them off. And at the very least, you force them to heal themselves while the rest of your team deals damage. We're about to see level 20 for Pepegas. There's the Unstoppable. Used. A pretty good choice, just in case Panda does get the jump. With 10 seconds left on this objective, Tactical Feed does stop it. But still, at a 2-level disadvantage, without level 20, Pepegas have this skill, this talent advantage. With pressure at bottom. And this fort on its last legs. And they need this 20. This is what they're doing. Panda's gonna venture out, look for some creeps to beat up, but the threat is here. Pepegas are ready to fight. With no level 20s on Tactical Feed, this is a 4v5 defense on objective. Stacked odds, but Vala able to get out of big damage. Might be able to turn around? No. The Sands of Time does isolate the return. Tyrande does get the pick. Still missing this level 20. They are short 1 creep. Level 20 popped on Tactical Feed, but with no time left on this objective. If they only had a creep wave earlier. But that doesn't mean they can't get kills now. Anduin isolated. Well played. Joanna gets the cut into Anduin's retreat path. Panda follows up with a barrel. Good time, too, because with these objectives coming in, Pepegas could go for a death ball and group as 5 and start plowing down lanes. Let's look at some stacks. 23 orbs. Vala has 28 Qs. Anduin, 1 piercing light. This thing is hard. You have to hit two players with Chastise. But it does give him more spell damage when he completes the quest. It's also good to just have a pierce. But for the most part, Anduin, the only thing Anduin ever sees is a panda. Half the time, or more than half the time, he's just fighting Panda in the back line. Both teams probably going to go for boss. Are we going to see Tactical Feed go for a boss? They are going a little bit behind, but they should be able to burn it in time. A shortened mind control is really powerful. I like a Noob's rewind as well. Here it is. Tactical Feed's gonna TP back. Gotta get this big camp. And both teams are probably gonna exchange bosses here. Looking for any TPs out. With both teams even on levels. And potentially even on forts, they should be able to kill this in time. Oh, we're seeing a panda try to intervene on this Hogger on Hogger violence. Hogger on no violence. And there's the roll. Nice camp steal. Every tiny advantage adds up. right? That's EXP stolen, even though it matters less in the late game. But that's also a camp. But that is a Panda ult down. So 40 seconds on the Panda ult. We do have to keep this in mind because as a part of these competitive matches, you are keeping track of spell timers. So one thing players can do, which happens in Dota a lot, people type the time of when an ult was used so they could manage it more easily. They type it in chat. Well, no Panda barrel. Panda has to be careful how to engage. Nice pickup. Both tanks getting exchanged. And Tactical Feed's backing up. A lot of these engagements are a lot of forward and back. And ideally, they find the kills they need right away. But with good positioning, you could just disengage. You can extract players. This is such a close match. And keep in mind, there's still a lot of potential on the side of Tactical Feed. They have quests that will scale. Panda with 44 stacks. Looking around. Now, this is the Panda's view. What Panda sees. And they know they're going to go for this. Is Panda going to reprise the same strategy? Is he going to do the same thing? This time, they are prepared. Can they stop it? What a bully. What a bully. But mind control missed. And this is very dangerous for Panda. You should be able to get out. Oh my goodness. So scary. And that distraction was perfect. It's a good time to get the channel. 32 seconds left on this channel before objective falls into Tactical Feed's favor. Panda in position for a backline rotate in. But this Crystal, not caught out, not frozen. KT gets mind controlled. Vala cocooned. And Joanna trying to stop all her friends from getting murdered. Panda in the back line. Burning, setting this doggo on fire, setting humans on fire. What looked like a really bad situation for Pepegas, the Panda is turning around. Still 44 stacks. I would have expected a stack. I guess he didn't hit the combo. But anyways, is this an existential threat? Is this real? This could be. Going for a bottom keep. Tactical Feed is in the lead here. And with 2 players down, 25 seconds left, they have to find a way to defend. This is great damage on the Panda. If you could keep the Panda in control, you can keep them back out of this choke point. And the core is down to half. Joanna in backline getting stunned. She will get picked off. No. Anduin getting ripped apart. And Joanna still in this front line. Taking out the core. Holy. What a turnaround. Remember, this game... Oh, we gotta show stats. So I don't have to do it later. This game was so dead even. It was so dead even up until the very end. And even then, it looked like it was going to go to Pepegas because they had that level advantage. It was a big advantage. And then, out of nowhere, somehow Tactical Feed finds that EXP, gets the 20, meets them on the same level, steals 2 camps. I think that's just fun. A funny use of barrel. I would assume it did a lot more than just steal the creeps. It allowed Panda to create space. during the objective, which allowed Tactical Feed to move in on the objective. So a lot of players dedicating to defending that, knowing that he did it the first time, it just worked out. And then that turnaround into endgame with where it looked like Pepegas had Tactical Feed pinned. You had this Anoop getting into the back line. You have stuns going out, but Panda was able to sneak back that crystal. Remember, I pointed out the crystal. If that was on automatic, that would have been caught. But, you know, players do watch the map. But it was just at that moment where Chromie was distracted just a little bit and could not freeze the Panda, which allowed the Panda to get into a backline that much sooner. Could they have gone out? Sure. But it's still really difficult because we are kind of Team Panda after that game. That flame damage. That's only half of the Panda's potential. Rarely have I seen 80 stacks, but I'm pretty sure it's nuts. You see 80 stacks in like ARAM, I think. Thank you, Blizzard, for logging me out again. I'm not going to make that mistake. So it's nice to see a game 3 because these two teams are so close and those are the best matches. Let's go into game 3. I might have to log in again. I'm going to take this as your break because I need to log in. I need to update scores. So take it as your break. All right. This is a best of 3 between Tactical Feed and Pepegas on Ice. Really, really strong showing from Tactical Feed in that second game. I think we're getting into it. No. I should not show the frame until it's proven I'm logged in because I'm not. I knew it. Thank you, Blizzard. All right. Yeah, so about game 1, I will show the stats in post. I'm going to do a little edit, and you guys will see it there. Yeah, I usually don't really look at stats. I usually just go next when I play. It's like, when I look at stats, it's like because someone has like 300k damage or something outrageous. All right. For Tactical Feed, we have Maturium on Anubarak. Now they're taking Anubarak. Ogle will be the Hogger again. Kreenovas will be Sylvanas. Gambit will be our Tychus. I hate Tychus. But I want to see what he could do to the double tank on the R team. We'll get to them in a second. And Viper on the Tyrande. Here's the double tank. Blaze taking up the off lane. Will be played by Tomgin. And Teal will be our ETC. Creepio on Cassia. Peas will be to Anduin again. And Raptor on the Falstad. That's the level 1 ARAM I like to see. A bit of engagement. No hard committals there. Battle of Eternity. This map is really dependent on your DPS. So I'm curious. Well, no, sorry. This is not Battle of Eternity. Infernal Shrines. I still know the map names. All right, this is the other one. I always get these two mixed up, right? All right, so this one's not as dependent on DPS because Battlefield of Eternity rides on DPS, like burning on the bosses, right? So, ETC should be fine here. Escapes. Nice heals. Tychus versus a Blaze at top. Kind of feels unfair, but Terran on Terran violence. Fair, it does not matter. So, a 4-1 strat taken by both teams. Both teams of four. The four in both teams are trying for a push. Ogle looks for a gank. Nice knockback. Is it enough damage? Not nearly enough. Frequent flyer. Interesting. We're gonna see a right-click build from Faustad. Pepegas gonna start the camp, and it's just about time both teams do so because we're gonna have objective pop pretty soon. Right-click build for Cassia. Really right-click heavy, and I think that's necessary, right? Because you need a way to deal with Hogger. You need a way that is not cooldown dependent to deal with Hogger. And they have two answers for it. Faustad was a strong pick against Hogger. The ability to dodge some knockbacks. And this bottom fight may not turn into much here. Still, this is two tanks. Even though they get them caught out, it's not a lot of damage. Objective popped on Infernal Shrines. I will remember that map name. A new Barak might go down, and Faustad looking for a dive onto Tychus. Pepegas taking control of the shrine. Six to 20 stacks on this shrine. Pepegas halfway there to a completion of this objective. And Hogger's gonna do his pinball thing. Bounce around a bit. Just a few more kills. Tactical Feed needs to stop these kills if they want this objective. They do lose Tychus in this. And going into first objective. And a level 7 Pepegas on ice. We're starting to... Are we going to see? Both teams hit 7. But first objective heading to bottom. It is an ice boss. Which is going to freeze things as he deploys his ice across the field. And that's going to force these players to reposition because getting rooted can equate to a death. There's the jump. Chain into an ETC slide. Sylvanas goes down. And this fort also goes down. Another slide, not catching Tychus. When we look at endgame, where do we see this going? Both teams have pretty significant scalability. Pepega's not choosing to push this camp. They go back and take their own. With a fort advantage, they'll also have a pressure advantage as catapults come out for bottom. Almost level 10, and it looks like the race to level 10 is about to conclude. They just need that one more EXP. They're waiting. They were just waiting for that 10. If Pepegas had that 10 2 seconds earlier, they would have made that dive. Mosh pit selected here. ETC was so ready, and we have a Faustad Mighty Gust. This is a really strong defensive pushback that will help them siege this. Still not 10. Tactical Feed is dividing players up to get EXP across the map. Try to get their 10 to defend this. Valkyrie chosen by Cassia. Anduin still undecided. Does he need The heals. Does he want the light bomb? I think Anduin wants to go light bomb, but seeing how the CCs are thrown out, I think he's just holding on to the fact that maybe he could get away with a light bomb. Because also the healing ult can be interrupted. Okay. Going for a pull. Hi, Burrow. All right, light bomb chosen by Anduin. As we go into this siege by Sylvanas. Valkyrie missing. Sylvanas does get caught out. Nice light bomb getting the Sylvanas kill. Blaze going into a backline, try and disrupt and stall this Tychus. And since Blaze is able to heal, it allows him to make these dives and survive that much longer. I also think Blaze probably has bunker to survive a Tychus. Oh, nice counterplay, picking up the Anduin there. 4v4 going into the objective. It's going to be located up here. Creeps being cleared. Starfall chosen by Tirane. Okay. Now remember, Pepegas is going into this mind-controlled Cassia without an Anduin here for escape. Bunker deployed. Good use of the bunker to extract players, creating that choke point so they could play defensively. Anduin's here now. And they need to pressure if they're going to stop this objective. 27 stacks to 5. 31, 32. It's just going. If they don't stop it here, Tactical Feed does claim the objective. But are they going to get a reverse kill here? It's a great mosh pit, but there's just not enough follow-up damage. And this boss is also going to help beat Pepegas down. Blaze stuck between a wall and a really infested Terran. Let's get ripped apart. Now this is going to even things out. Will they be able to burn this before taking significant damage? Remember, this is a later objective. This objective is stronger. And it will deal more damage and have more life. Actually, I'm not sure about the damage part. I think the damage is the same. Does it scale? Probably the same, but it definitely has more life, and that's going to equate to a gate and 2 towers down. Tactical Feed is setting up top. Towers go down, camp stolen. And it looks like they're going to feed. Tactical Feed's going to go back, take some camps, claim the rest of their map. Create a timing push that'll allow them to pressure top or bottom. So this top-bottom split is pretty strong. You have a Sylvanas, and you don't need a lot with Sylvanas to pressure and burn a lane down. And at the same time, as you set up the top camp, you're going to have a respectable big camp pushing top as well. So Pepegas need to make a decision on how they're going to address this push. Well, because in the meantime, you got 2 medium-sized, you got 2 smaller camps pushing mid. These are your level 13s as we go into this defense. This 4-on-4 at bottom. Sentinel again. Burning Beetles. It's an interesting choice. I think it's a pretty good choice to have this AoE against 2 tanks. It might not be that much damage though, but having these beetles occasionally just like burn creep waves down, right? Like it's creating a little pressure. even when they siege. Ooh, looking for a gust. Raptor does not find it. But at least he doesn't die. He does have a lot of stacks, though. 169 stacks going into 12 minutes soon. The pressure starts diverting to top. Mind control, not finding anything, but Tactical Feed does have a position on this fort. The fort comes down, adding another set of catapults to Tactical Feed's side. What's the next play? Are we going for lane pressure in mid? Are we going to redirect? Because this creep wave is pretty far behind. What are they planning on doing? Both teams posturing. The noob in the backline does get caught out. And it's a double mosh pit. Blaze gets a nice stun. Cocoon dropped on Anduin, but is that going to cost them a death? That actually does. That Cocoon. That Cocoon was really nice. The double mosh pit is nice. It's just the damage isn't enough in that time frame. Going into another objective. Let's look at our level 16s. Burrow charge. Unstoppable. Good choice. Again, especially against some of these CCs from the tanks. Second charge of pull. Sylvanas has 136 stacks. Sylvanas with a maxed out stack count is incredibly scary. And also extremely hard to kill. Here it is. Tactical Feed with a Sylvanas, a boss, and a good position. It's gonna keep Pepegas away. Sitting behind their gate. And what's the play? Faustad is not here. But is he gonna find a gust when that gate goes down? Because he's not joining. He's moving in now. Faustad getting in position. Needs to stay out of vision. This creep camp, this creep wave coming up. Here's a gust. And the Cocoon on Anduin leaving Tychus out of position. Getting caught by Mosh, but interrupted by Hogger. And yes, the boss is still here, pummeling, trying to look for this Blaze. Oh my goodness, the Blaze does go down. That boss's extra punch and Sylvanas's dot just burned down the Blaze there. Hogger on the run. And that Tyrande is gone, but she's gonna try and make a little space. Yeah, just spin away from your problems. That's the Hogger way. Pepega's gonna get some retribution here. I gotta steal a camp. Do the same thing back to what they've been experiencing. That double was really powerful, and it forced like a lot of structural damage when that happened. Both teams just picking up some camps. Let's take a look at some stats. Healing. Now, Tyrande is a healer that's harder to heal with than Anduin. She has less options, and she has to constantly attack to recharge her cooldowns, which makes her vulnerable positionally. She has to get into the fight, but she does bring a lot of damage, and that's what the Sentinel is for. The Sentinel is to, one, keep her safe, but also deal a percentage damage to double tanks here, which makes sense. You have two tanks with extraordinarily high HP, 6% of their health from one spellcast from a healer. That's a lot of damage. Not to mention, it reduces the damage they deal, so if they so happen to get in the backline, Tyrande can very much out-heal the DPS coming in. Tactical Feed might not be able to get this in time. Oh, see, there's that Sentinel. That Sentinel slowed him, so he couldn't get in position. We see a gust, but it's only on one person. Hogger's still at top, so Tactical Feed is fighting this. Down a player. Hogger's coming down, but Sylvanas goes down. And Pepegas taking this back into their hands. Going into objective 3. Objective 3? 4? 4? I think it's 4. Yeah, the gust only, like, caught one, but it caught a very important one. Tychus. Falstad defending mid. No need for him to be here. Low pressure coming in on bottom, but Pepegas about to hit 20 stacks on this objective. A Hogger does steal one and spins out of danger. Oh, thank you. This is number 4. Thank you. Narrowly avoiding dive. Now it's Tactical Feed's turn to steal, to kill some creeps. Now this is a late game objective. If they get caught with some deaths on Pepega's side and a boss, this could be really bad. And that bunker saving players' lives multiple times. Mind control ETC gets impaled into, but the silence connects with a Nubarak into a gust. And it's 5v3. Tychus does get caught with an ETC mosh pit. Tyrande might be okay here. She doesn't really have mana, but she's okay. Hogger survives, but with low life, no range, and a boss on their side, this is going to be a hard defense. Thankfully, we do have a little pressure on these outer lanes, but this could turn into a keep here. This boss is not really harmed. Some dynamite being thrown. Is this existential? Some of the players are coming back in a few seconds, but Pepega's going for a kill here. Hogger in backline. Anubarak trying to disrupt, and they're going to try to pick up this Anduin in the backline, spinning, knockbacks, impales, burrow strikes. But the bunker once again gives Anduin a place to run to. And Hogger does go down due to concentrated fire from Pepegas. Boss is about to go down, but in a 4v5, Tactical needs to find a way to defend against this. How do you get around this double tank positioning? How do you get around an Anduin pull? How do you get around the bunker? Bunker has done so much work this game. HP advantage going in favor of Tactical Feed, but still at a player disadvantage with 17 seconds left on Hogger's respawn. I think Pepegas, they were gonna run, but they're still fishing out. Maybe they could get a pick here. But I think time is better spent elsewhere. Blaze gets cocooned, stunned into some damage. Mosh interrupted. Tychus does get picked here. And Cassia, very low, gets a desperate plea I believe it's plea, keeping her alive in that Pepegas has the player advantage once again. Tychus out for 40 seconds. Late game respawn times. What's the decision? Are we going for a camp steal? Now, this is the same type of camp stealing aggression that we saw in game 1, but I think Tactical Feed knows. They know how Pepegas are playing. But Tyrande just narrowly escaping some of that CC. Low on heal cooldown. She has to get some right clicks in, but she does survive. And this is great, right? So Pepegas went for a camp steal, did not get it, creating time for this to start pushing up, creating time for Hogger to get the camp during that fight. And now it is time to respect the creep wave, because they are pushing into this keep and they're about to deal good damage if they weren't defended. This tower is incredibly low. We can see anyone go for a steal here. It's a little risky. Now we gotta think about what the players see on occasion, right? So this is a new Barak. Here's some stats, but this is what Tactical Feed sees. Unaware of the positioning, they see 2 DPS top. Once they see 2 DPS and the 3, they feel confident to take this camp, even if it's contested. But what's happening? Are we getting a wraparound by Pepegas? Not quite there in time. Objective 5 starting. Cocoon on ETC. Tychus gets focused down. The Gust further solidifying any reinforcements, preventing any reinforcements from saving him. ETC does find 2 in the backline. Now, that's not a kill immediately, but that is enough to prevent a new Barak from doing much. And this is objective 4. 5. Objective 5. It is not looking good. It does not look like Pepegas want to finish this objective. And outside of a miracle, it's hard to see Pepegas drop this. And it looks like game 3 is going to fall into their favor. The bunker, for a little more insult. I mean, the bunker has done a lot of work. Here's your scores. Take a screenshot, memorize it. We're going to talk a little bit about the series after this. Nice heals. By Anduin. It's really hard to compete with that sizable amount of heals, but you know, Tyrande, like, it's just so hard to keep those cooldowns going. Here's the builds. Let's go into post commentary. Is it this one? It's this one. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Pepegas on Ice takes the best of 3. This was a B division game for Nexus Gaming Series, and honestly, these matches have been absolutely great. The first one, yeah, pretty scary for Tactical Feed, but by game 2, they were ready, they were warmed up, and they showed dominance towards the final minutes of the game. They had great positioning, great plays, camp steals, and then going into game 3, it was very even. It's a lot of back and forth, and these are the best games. I hope every game is this even. And I like to see spells that I don't see often in quick match. I play a lot of quick match, and seeing the bunker was really, really nice. A lot of people just don't click the bunker or portals in QM. You know how it is. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will put the stats for game 1 up in post. I've said this before. So this will be uploaded to YouTube, and I will continue streaming live. Well, streaming replays live on Fridays before we go into games. Thank you guys. I'm Charlotte, and I'll see you next time. Bye-o.